Hi guys, it's Elisa, and I'm going to be doing a request that I received via email. I haven't read it yet, I just got it, and I have an hour and a half until my class starts, so I'm just sitting in my car waiting. Um, I'm going to keep it anonymous just because I always do that, but I received it about an hour ago. So it says, just for proof, this is the email. Dear Lisa, I discovered your videos about a month ago just after my boyfriend of 4 months broke up with me. I was searching the internet for answers on how to get him back. You are one of the most genuine breakup advice channels I have come across, and so many of your videos have helped me so much with the process of going through heartbreak. Thank you so much. That means a lot. If you have time at all, I would really appreciate your email or your help with my particular situation, either by email or video, but I'm not really sure what sort of category this would all come under. I apologize in advance for the length of this email, but I can't really summarize it without explaining all the details. My ex and I actually met just over a year ago at a Catholic conference over Christmas break. We were introduced by a priest who found out we both went to the same university because he's in the year above me. And when I first met him, I can't describe it exactly, but it was as if I felt God telling me that he was the person I was going to marry. I know it must sound weird, but I was so certain of it to the point where I actually felt a bit nervous thinking about that the stranger in front of me would one day be my husband. We didn't really talk much after the conference, but I started developing a crush on him a few weeks later, and pretty much liked him for the whole of last year. So when he messaged me over the summer asking if I was going to go to the same conference, they have a summer one and a winter one, I was so happy. We talked the whole conference and got on so well. I never connected with somebody that much, and he obviously felt the same way because we were messaging and Snapchatting for the rest of the summer, and he even asked to meet up in London. We started dating pretty much as soon as we started university again in October, and it was so perfect. We were so in love, and all of his friends would tell me how he was smitten. Oh my god, I love you, London, you English people. This is so cute. How he was smitten, and they never seen him like someone that much before. We met each other's families over Christmas break and went to the conference again together, and it was everything more than perfect. I was the happiest I've ever been in my whole life. It's so cute. Things were still great when we got back to uni in January, and we spent a lot of the time together and hung out with his friends in the few days before term actually started. And he kept telling me how happy it all made him that I got on so well with them all. He even started talking about going away together over the summer, saying how he'd really like to go to Paris with me one day, etc. A few days later, he stayed around mine overnight after we'd been out. We're both waiting until marriage to have sex, so we'd both been very drunk the night before. So the next morning, when I couldn't really remember what had happened, I asked him if we'd slept together. He said he remembered everything, and he was sure that we didn't. But then when I texted him a few days later to say I had the flu, he suddenly got scared that I was pregnant. He's a bit clueless about female biology. Every boy is. That's so funny. It stressed him out a lot, and he didn't speak to me much that week. I'm going to address that in a second. He didn't speak to me much that week while I was ill, which he later explained was because he'd built up the pregnancy thing so much in his head that I would have just reminded him of it whenever he saw or spoke to me. I realized how stressed he was about it all, so I took a pregnancy test to assure him I wasn't pregnant. He apologized for how poorly he acted that week, though, and he took me out to dinner and lunch over the next couple of days to make up for it. The next week, though, he asked if we could meet up in town and broke up with me. It seemed to have completely happened out of the blue, especially since the day before at lunch he'd been saying how excited he was to meet my grandparents as they were coming up in a few weeks. I was so hurt and confused, so we met up a few days later to talk about it through properly because I felt like I was owed more of an explanation than it's all in my head. He told me that he still had feelings for me and he still cared about me. Oh, I just read the same sentence twice. He told me that he still had feelings for me and still cared about me and hated having to do this to me, which I believe because he kept trying to comfort me and put his arm around me and wipe my tears away while I was crying, but he said that since the pregnancy scare, he had started feeling different about our relationship and was trying to get those feelings back by spending time with me, but it just didn't work, and he didn't see a future with me anymore and said that we obviously weren't meant to be. This hurts so much because I really believed and still do that God wants us to be together, but he just doesn't see it. Since then, we haven't really spoken. I saw him out one night the other week at a club. I think he meant club. He knew I'd be at, but when I went to talk to him, he acted really awkward, and I didn't know what to say. I also saw him the other day in town wearing the cap I bought him for Christmas. I see my ex-boyfriend carrying things that I bought him all the time. I know that. It's like, what the heck? But he started walking past me as he put his head down and started walking quicker to avoid seeing me at all. I really don't know what's going on with him. I'm good friends with one of his best friends, and she said that they, being all of his friends, thinks he's being an idiot, and she said she thinks he still has feelings for me, but that something else is going on with him that he needs to sort out. He's told me he needs space, so I'm willing to give that to him, but I'm terrified that if it goes too long, he'll forget all about me and move on, while I still... Let me turn the air on. I am burning up in this car. Sorry, I'm so hot. So I'm willing to give that to him, but I'm terrified that if it goes too long, he'll forget all about me and move on, while I still won't be able to fall out of love with him. The person that he is at the moment isn't the person I was in a relationship with, and I miss the old him so much. He told me before that he used to have commitment issues when it came to girls. I was his first serious relationship and first love, but he dated other girls for a few weeks since he'd been at the university. He said that with me he felt completely different and that he wasn't really sure about me. I don't really understand what's happening. I would really appreciate your advice on this, especially since I gathered from your videos that you're a Christian, and this is particularly affecting my faith because now I'm starting to doubt God and what I thought he was leading me to. I can't understand why he would let me feel like I was going to marry this guy if it was just going to end up like this. Do you think he will ever talk to me again, that we have another chance? Thank you in advance if you manage to find time to read through all this, and I'm so sorry about the length. Very best wishes, Anonymous, 19, England. Very well put. That was a very good request. I love the way you... Sorry, I'm like burning up. It is hot in here. It is 59 degrees Fahrenheit. I know y'all don't use Fahrenheit, but I don't even know what that is in Celsius, but... Actually, 59 is pretty cold, but I don't know, I live in the South, so, very well put, very well written, and honestly, normally when I read my requests, I feel very out of tune with a lot of them, because a lot of them are situations that I've never been through before. You know, I have, like, married people asking me for advice all the time, or people that, like, are doing crazy long distance that I've never had to do before, so, although I don't want to sound cocky, but, like, I'm pretty good at giving advice for situations that I've never been through before. However, this situation, I've lived it. This situation is the reason why I have my channel. Because I went through the same exact thing that you just sent me. The same exact thing that you're going through. I've been through it. Which is why you're watching this video. Because I was so hurt, I was so devastated, that I wanted to start a channel, and that's where I'm at today. So, I didn't get my ex-boyfriend back, but you know what, it's been 1.5 years, and I realized I don't love him anymore. I don't need him anymore. He has a special place in my heart, because he was my first love, and I was his. But sometimes, after being alone for long enough, you start to realize that anybody who hurts you is not worthy of being in your life at a certain point. Like, after a breakup, it's normal to dedicate a few weeks / months to being hurt and being upset. Like, that's so normal. Like, it's so normal to stay, like, in our feelings about it, because that's what a breakup does. It makes you really sad. It makes you really, like, kind of selfish, you know? But then, eventually, you kind of get pissed off at that person for hurting you. And, like, first it's about me. Like, oh, you hurt me, and now I'm sad. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm single. I don't have any boyfriend. I don't have a backup plan. Like, after the breakup, it's all about that. But then, as, like, time progresses, the tables turn. It's, you hurt me. You abandoned me without giving me an explanation. You disappeared out of the blue and you promised me a future, and you kind of get this anger, and it kind of makes you, or it assists you in moving on, and then, after X amount of time, you start to really fall in love with yourself. And then you realize that you deserve so much better. I'm not just saying that because it sounds good, like, oh, you deserve better. No, but after X amount of time, you do realize that everybody who left your life, you're happy that they did. Because you don't want anybody in your life that left you. You don't. They did you a favor by walking out. However, all of that, what I just said, is the conclusion of this video. Like, that is my final, like, message. So now I'm going to go through your request and break it down. But I'm just letting you know. This is what I went through. I mean, we dated a little bit longer than 4 months, but nonetheless, if you're in love with someone and they're in love with you and y'all break up, it's the same feeling. You know, it's devastating. It's heartbreaking. And right now you're in that phase where you're like sad and you want him back and you're talking to his friends. I know what you're going through. I did all of that. For months and months and months, and I dug myself into this deep, deep hole that I just recently climbed out of, honestly, and still sometimes need to climb out of. So, I'm going to break this down for you. So, a lot of people don't believe in love at first sight. Excuse the way I'm sitting. I'm a cheerleader, you know, I just sit with my legs all over the place. A lot of people don't believe in love at first sight. I kind of do. But the way I believe in it is, it's not just like if you pass a stranger on the street and then you see him and like, oh my god, you're all of a sudden in love with him. Because no, love takes time to build. However, I think love at first sight is when you are in love with the initial attraction of a person. Like, if you know how sometimes you see somebody and you get like the butterflies for them and your heart starts pounding and talking to them makes you super happy and like you just can't stop looking at them. Like, if that happens, plus you meet them and then you guys fall in love. That's what I believe love at first sight is, when you have that butterfly, like, mushy-gushy happiness, and then you fall in love with them, and then y'all date, and everything works out. Like, yeah, I believe that's love at first sight, but I don't believe that two people can just, like me, and instantly fall in love. Like, you have to build it up, obviously. So, under my definition, it was love at first sight for you guys, which is amazing, and, you know, you guys, like, as soon as you guys were put together by God, I mean, I believe that God does orchestrate everything that happens in our lives. As soon as God brought you guys together, it was like a chemical reaction. You guys clicked, and you like, hung out all the time, and you visited places, and you bonded with each other's friends, and, like, everything was fantastic, as it should be when you first start dating. However, I think that not pregnancy scare, but, like, that whole situation with the pregnancy really revealed his true colors. I believe that, I'm not going to say God did it, because nowadays I don't understand. Like, it's hard for me to tell what God is doing and what the devil's doing. I don't know if the devil is taking away things from us to make us upset, or if God is taking away things from us to replace them with something better. I honestly have a hard time differentiating between the two. So I can't tell you if the whole pregnant thing was brought on by God or the devil. Really, really, like, faithful Christians would say God. I mean, maybe it is God, who knows. But that really it should show you that even the thought of you being pregnant is something that he wants nothing to do with. Guys love the thrill of things. Guys love the current, like, flair of a relationship. You know, they love having that girl to do everything with, and, like, they love having a girlfriend. However, as soon as the word pregnancy, or even marriage, or, like, something serious that really does nail down commitment, as soon as something like that is, like, stapled into it, they get scared. Because guys, by nature, are afraid of commitment and by attachment. Like, yes, they love having girlfriends, because girlfriends, typically, like, they're fun, you know, like, even though you can fall in love with them, most of the time, like, girlfriends are just phases. It's just, like, a fun thing to do. I mean, sometimes you fall in love with them and it works out, but for the most part, a girlfriend is not a wife. A girlfriend is on the way to becoming a wife, but that's not what you're focusing on. You're just focusing on dating. However, as soon as pregnancy gets stapled in, he got a glimpse of what it felt like to be nailed down to something, and that terrified the shit out of him. I know. I've seen this happen multiple times. They just, like, I know with my ex-boyfriend and I, like, when we first started dating, like, first started dating, like a couple months in, we would talk about marriage all the time, and it was cute, you know, like getting married is a cute idea, like let's have our own cute little house and our own dog, like that's really adorable. But when you guys like progress in your relationship and things start to get serious, marriage kind of, it becomes less cute, and it really does start to sit in. And if it sits in and it makes you uncomfortable, that means it's the wrong person for you. Same thing with pregnancy. If you guys have been dating for a long time and the idea of like pregnancy starts to sit in, if it's the wrong person, it's going to scare them away. However, if it's the right person, they're going to be like open to the idea of one day having a family, but it's not going to be now. So the idea that he got the glimpse of pregnancy, it made him realize that you are probably not the person that he wants to have kids with, which is fine. He's a college student. No college student wants to think about having kids right now. None of them do. I'm on my college campus right now. I bet I can walk right outside of this door and say, how many of you want to think about having children? None of them are going to raise their hand. Nobody wants to have kids, so the thought of even having that scared him. And it's not the fact that it was with you. It's not that it was against you, like having kids with you. It's not that personal. It's the fact that just having kids in general, adopting that responsibility, he wants nothing to do with that. But don't take it personally. I know you're thinking, oh, well, he doesn't want to have kids with me. Well, shouldn't I take offense to that because he says that he loves me? Yeah, he loves you. Or he did. I don't know if he still does, but I'll get into that. But that doesn't... Guys compartmentalize everything. Listen to this. When women and man brains operate very differently. Women love to tie everything together. We watched a sermon one time where women have spaghetti brains, and boys have waffle brains. They have little squares for everything, and some people would consider that sexist, but I don't. I think it's true. I'm a psychology major. I study these things. Women, our brains are like very scrambled. We like to have the boy mixed in with the friends, mixed in with the classes, mixed in with our weekend plans, mixed in with our coworkers, mixed in with hanging out with our coworkers. Like everything is like combined. Boys don't do that. Boys have a box for their friends, a box for their parents, a box for their relationship, a box for school, and for the first time, a box for his girlfriend was starting to get mixed in with the box for the future, like pregnancy and marriage, and like that terrified him because the two boxes were merging and he can't have that, so he got terrified. Boys love having everything separated, but the fact that something that is, I guess, assigned to the future or reserved to the future was like threatened to seep into the present, that scared the crap out of him. And like I said, don't take it personally because it was you. It was just the whole idea in general that scared him. That doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. This is what I was waiting to get into. It doesn't mean he doesn't love you, because just because he doesn't want to have kids doesn't mean he doesn't love you. It just means that he's just not ready to think about that. However, the whole thing that, like, ever since this pregnancy scare happened, it probably made him realize that you are not the person that he wants to pursue a future with. Because, like I said, guys love the thrill of things. They love the present. Guys are very present-orientated. Women are typically more future-orientated. I know I was always the one talking about the future and marriage, blah, blah. But guys are more like, no, today. Like, let's cross that bridge when we get there, but today let's cross this one. And as soon as he was kind of forced to think about the what-ifs, like, what if I got drunk and had sex with her, now she's pregnant, like, when he thought about that, it probably made him realize that either, okay, there's two options here. A, it either made him realize that you are not the person he wants to adopt these responsibilities with. That's the less common option. Or B, it made him realize that he's just scared as hell. He's just scared as heck that the idea of pregnancy ever even popped up, and he just wants to run away because he's just scared of everything. Not you. It's not you who's at fault. It's just the fact that he just probably impregnated somebody, or he thought he impregnated somebody, and now he's just terrified and wants to run. That's probably the more viable option. That's probably what happened. I don't want to say, I don't think he's running away from you. He's running away from the fear, because I don't want to get your hopes up. However, that could be a possibility. Maybe he was just scared, okay? Maybe he's just scared, and he needs some time to, like, decompress. I know that would happen a lot with my ex-boyfriend. Every time we would have problems, he would just take off maybe a couple days to just think about it, and he would come back and things would be good. However, like the last time we had our serious issue was the last straw. You know, our issue made him realize that I was not the person he wanted to pursue a future with anymore, and then he left, and now it's been a year and a half. So, you don't know what option it is. You don't know if he's actually done with you because he realized that you're not the person he wants to pursue this with, or he's just scared and he needs time to decompress. You don't know, and I don't know. And you won't know until time passes. There is a chance he could change his mind and come back to you. There's a chance. Some people, depending on who you ask, will tell you don't take him back because if he is even like scared at the idea of having kids with you, it means he doesn't want to be with you. Like that's a very like drastic like implication. But I mean, I guess I could see that. Like if he's scared of having kids with you now, he probably doesn't want to commit to you, and he's just in it for like the present, the thrill. However, we're college kids. It's not that serious. So, maybe he's going to regret being so scared, and he's going to come back, and he's going to miss you, and he's going to apologize, and you guys can get back together. However, that's only going to happen if he truly loves you. Okay? One thing that you said in this message was, I'm afraid that we're going to take space, and he's going to forget about me and move on. Listen to me, sister. The right person won't move on from you. The right person won't move on from you. Repeat after me. Think about it. The right person won't move on from you. They don't. They never will. The wrong person will. The wrong person will move on from you because God does not want that person to be with you. God has somebody else for the wrong person, and God has you for somebody else. So if he forgets about you, if he moves on from you, now you know why God took him away. Because God wants him to be with someone else, and God wants you to be with someone else. Now, if I would have watched this video, the one that you're watching right now, after my breakup, I'd be crying my eyes out at this point. Because the thought of him even being with someone else would tear my heart into shreds. I'm the girl for you. I'm the girl who you wanted to have your future with. I'm the girl who was supposed to be the love of your life. Like that, it was me. I'm the girl for that. But as time passes and as you grow up and as you start to mature and as you start to realize what you deserve, it kind of becomes a relaxing thought. Wow, I have a loving God who only wants the best for me. So if God took someone out of my life, it wasn't what's best for me. It was just what was best for me in the moment, but not anymore. It's what was best for me from my time that I was with him for those 4 months. But now, he's not what's best for me. It becomes relaxing, like there's nothing I can do, because God has someone for me. Like my boyfriend now, I met a boy, he's flawless, like he's great, he's really amazing, and I think God gave him to me for really rebuilding myself after my breakup. I never, ever, ever thought I would ever move on from my ex-boyfriend, but, as soon as I did, as soon as I started to love myself and really appreciate myself and value myself, that's when God said, okay, I think you're ready. Love yourself because he doesn't. Cherish yourself because he doesn't. And take care of yourself because he won't. Everything that you want him to give you, forget it and do it for yourself. I'm not telling you it's over with him, because who knows, maybe it's not. But before you have a successful relationship with anybody, you need to have one with yourself, okay? And then God will give you what he thinks is best for you. Maybe it's your ex-boyfriend. Maybe your ex-boyfriend was the right person at the wrong time. I do believe in that. Or maybe your ex-boyfriend was just the wrong person. I know what you're thinking. Oh no, but like our feelings were so strong. Like there's no way he was. I know. We all go through it. We all go through these phases in our life where we meet people and we think they're the one, but guess what? They're not. Either they're not the one right now, and they will be in the future, or they're never going to be the one ever, but they just were the one for 4 months. We don't know. Life is pretty tricky. Life loves giving us things and then taking them away, and then just like recycling that over and over. We don't know. So, wow, I totally went off on a tangent. Let me pull up your message. So he said he didn't see a future with you and that you weren't meant to be. And you believed that you were meant to be. Okay, well, like I said, I went through the same thing. And honestly, after we broke up, I was confident that we were going to get back together because I was depending on my heart, on my feelings. I was like, well, my head is telling me we're not going to get back together because there's already been so much damage done, and like it just seems like we're not going to get back together. But my heart kept saying, no, you will. Like, you 100% will get back together. And I just kept relying on that. I kept relying on my heart. I kept talking to his friends and, like seeing what he was up to. But after I was waiting for so long and nothing was happening, I came to the conclusion that it just wasn't meant to be. I kept telling myself, maybe it's not meant to be right now, but it will be. But you know what? Feeding those thoughts into your head is the most suicidal thing you can do without actually killing yourself. Feeding false hope into your head, feeding false belief into your head, telling yourself that he's the right person at the wrong time, telling yourself that there is a new hope waiting for you, there is a part 2 waiting for you. Telling yourself that is going to drive you into the ground. I promise. And think about what I'm saying. It's going to drive you in the ground. I'm not just saying, like, oh, you're going to be sad about it. No, like, telling yourself... Okay, so it's a psychological, like, theory. If you tell yourself so many lies, you start to believe them. Like narcissistic disorder. If we're studying this in class right now, if you think that you are the best at everything, you start to believe yourself, and then you push away your friends and your family because you think that you can just do everything better than them, and that all you need is yourself, and then all of a sudden nobody wants to be around you anymore because you push all of them away, because you convinced yourself that you're the greatest of all time, but you're not. Same with this. If you tell yourself he's going to come back and that he is the person for you and that you are going to be with him again one day, like, you start to believe it, and that causes very bad damage for you psychologically. It fucks you up. Excuse my language, but it really fucks you up. It feels like you go crazy. Don't do that to yourself while you're still in the early stages of this breakup. The habits that you develop in the early stages of your breakup are the habits that prolong themselves over the rest of your time being single. If right now you drink a bottle of wine every time you're sad and you think about him, you are on the path to become an alcoholic. If you smoke a cigarette every time you get stressed out because you feel like you aren't good enough for him and that you didn't do enough for the relationship, that there was something that you could have done to save it. If you smoke a cigarette every time you have those thoughts, you are going to become a chain smoker. Don't develop bad habits. Because they stick. The reason why you brush your teeth every morning is because it's a habit. The reason why you make your bed every morning, you probably don't. I don't, but some people do. My parents, they make it every morning. I don't even know how. It's a habit. So don't develop a bad habit. And not just physically, like drinking wine or smoking cigarettes, but mentally. Don't quit telling yourself that you're gonna get him back. If he comes back, cool. That's awesome. I really hope that something works in your favor and that it works out for you. But don't tell yourself that he will and quit thinking that he will, because if he doesn't come back, those thoughts are going to keep going through your head. That habit is going to keep circulating itself through your head, and you are going to go crazy. Because while you're sitting here thinking, he's going to come back, we're going to get back together, I still love him, he still loves me, he's just hiding from me right now. He's going to be out drinking and partying and having fun and meeting new people and moving on and having the time of his life, while you are busy living in the habitual mental processes that you created for yourself. Don't create habits. Physical habits, drinking, partying, smoking, whatever, stalking him, talking to his friends, talking to his family, mental thoughts, thinking that he's going to come back, thinking that he's going to change his mind. Don't create habits. After my breakup, I started to get involved in some pretty bad things. But then I thought about what I'm telling you. I can't create these habits because they are going to prolong themselves. They are going to become permanent. So I quit doing all of the bad things and I started this program. It's a positive thing. Don't do things that take away from you. Smoking takes away from your lungs. Drinking takes away from your liver. Overthinking takes away from your sanity. Like, don't do things that subtract. Do things that add. This program helps people. It gives back to people. It helps people go through things for free. I wish I would have had a free counselor. Shoot. All I had was Matthew Hussey. That didn't help too much. I like Matthew Hussey, but his videos really didn't help me that much. But if you're watching this, Matthew Hussey, you're awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. Do things that add. I started karate. I started learning a new language. I became an assistant cheerleading coach for my old high school cheerleading team. I decided to do things that would add to my life. So do that. Do that and focus on yourself. Either he's going to come back or he's not. That's not up to you. Whatever he's doing, whatever he's thinking, and let that happen in his own head, in his own mind. Let all of that, build a wall in between you guys, mentally. You focus on you. Let him do him. If he comes back, awesome. Cool, you got what you wanted, and you started karate, which is cool. However, if he decides he doesn't want to come back, you will be fine, because you now know how to do karate. You now know how to speak a new language. You now know how to make a relationship advice program. So who really lost? The girl who started all these positive things for herself? Or the guy that lost somebody that never would have given up on him? Put yourself in the position where you are the winner, whether he comes back or not. If he comes back, be the winner because you weren't waiting for him. You decided to do good for yourself, and he decided that he missed you, so he came back. Or if he doesn't come back, you're still going to be the winner if you decide to take all this pain that you're feeling and manifest it into something positive. That's pretty much all I have to say. Bottom line, now is up to you. Don't think about him. This is my advice, and really take it from me because I went through this a year ago. Don't worry about him. I know it's so hard to because you love him, I know. But you just have to stop. It's crazy. I know, it's so hard. It's but you have to, put on a mental straitjacket. Quit thinking about it. Think about it. Cope, cry if you need to. Follow me on Spotify. I have some pretty good music on there. It'll help you. But overall, make sure that you're developing positive things for yourself, positive habits. You're doing good for yourself. And he's gonna decide that he was just scared of the whole idea of pregnancy, and he's gonna want you back. And then you can decide if you're gonna take him back or not. Or you're gonna realize that you really are better off without him. You're better off being by yourself than you are with somebody who runs away as soon as there's an obstacle. Which, by the way, 4 months is not really that long. So if he runs away after an obstacle like that, just after 4 months, he would have ran away sooner or later. There's a lot of things that pop up in relationships that are designed to wedge in between people. So if he ran away for this, might as well thank God now because he would have ran away probably a week later for something else happening. So you want somebody that's going to stick with you through these tough times and stick with you through these obstacles because that is the quality of a good partner and a stable relationship. That's what you want for yourself. So if somebody runs away as soon as times get tricky or difficult, consider God doing you a favor. Don't lose hope in God and don't lose faith in God because honestly everything kind of does have a way of working itself out. You just have to make sure that you are doing the best for yourself in the moment. That way you don't end up depressed, you don't end up sick, you don't end up miserable or dependent or anything. You need to make sure in this process you're building yourself up. Trust the process. Trust the process. So that's pretty much my advice. Thank you so much. If you still need advice, let me know and I'll be glad to continue to help you. However, that's pretty much all I need to say. Also, if anybody would like to donate to my fundraiser, I'm raising money to move to France so I can study abroad. Anything is appreciated, even $1. It's www.gofundme.com/send-alisa-to-france. The link is in the description down below. Anything is appreciated, literally even $1. So, or £1 if you live in England. But that's literally it. So thank you so much for your request, and I look forward to hearing back from you or for anybody that wants help with anything that they're going through. So yeah, thank you so much. Y'all have a nice day. Bye.